Welcome back to the Needle Bug, everybody. This is Karen. Today is Thursday, January 23rd, and hopefully this time is a charm because this is the third time I'm recording this video. Did it on Tuesday. Oh my God, the whole video was sideways. It was a great video, except the whole video was sideways. Well, who wants to watch a sideways video? Recorded it already once this morning, or so I thought. I had downloaded another software to record other than to just use my camera on my phone. Yeah, talked for about an hour. Didn't record a thing. Even though I had checked prior and did a little test, and it recorded that fine. And after my video, when I accidentally hit a button, it recorded that fine, but it didn't record my whole hour worth of ramblings. So I am back now for the third time on this Stitch With Me on the Diagonal video. So we're going to try again. When I did a test, this one was working okay and it was recording in the right direction. So hopefully this one will be the charm and we'll finally be able to get one uploaded for you. I'd like to start. Well, don't you know, now we're recording and the phone rings. I didn't put it on Do Not Disturb. Oh, issues. Anyway, I'd like to start out today with a question that I had from Rebecca, and I think you pronounce your last name Ray, R-H-E-A. Her question to me was, how do I grid? Well, Rebecca, I'm not exactly sure what answer you're looking for, so I will try to give you the best explanation that I can. If you are looking for the method I used to grid, the answer is this. I use one of two things. I either use this fine blue marker. It comes in blue. It is an erasable marker. It washes out very easily. I have not had an issue with it at this point in time. It has a very, very fine tip. Okay, it draws, let me see if I can draw just a little bit on here for you. It draws a very fine line. Okay. It does tend to want to bleed into a little bit into the next, but my understanding is this is the marker. This has the finest tip of any water-soluble marker that you can find. And like I said, I will use this. I've not had a problem. It washes out just fine. My preferred method, however, is to use a Bohin. There we go. A Bohin mechanical chalk pencil. Okay. This washes out beautifully. And as you see, there's, okay, focus. There we go. I have green chalk in it, and that's this line that I have drawn here. And it's just a matter of you draw down between your lines, and it leaves a nice fine mark. And I use that. This is my preferred one to grid. I believe you can buy these at Joann's. I think if I remember right, I got this one from 123 Stitch. I believe they're also on Amazon. I would say, just Google Bohin chalk pencils or chalk markers, and you should be able to locate them. I believe I got it at 123 because that was the least expensive. But honestly, I do not remember 100% if that's where I got it. I'm kind of thinking that it is, though. So I would use either one of those two. These two would be my best recommendations for you. That's what I would use. I will caution you. Please, please, please avoid at all cost using a regular lead pencil, whether it be regular lead, whether it be like a number 2 lead pencil, whether it be a mechanical pencil that uses lead. I say this from experience. They do not wash out completely. You will see fine lines in your stitching. Okay. How do I know this? Well, I did a project that my husband wanted to give as a gift. It was pheasants. It had a wooded area on the side. It was a grainy field, like a wheat field, and the pheasants were flying up out of it. I cropped it down. So obviously a lot of the color in that field was very light colors, like light yellows, light browns, some light oranges, and there were places that you could see where I had marked the grid behind there because I used a mechanical lead pencil. So you don't want to use graphite, is essentially, because lead is a graphite. What I had also done when I gridded that piece was I gridded below the end of the stitching. So if my stitching, say, ended here, my grid lines were also down here. All right. And that is the other reason I know that they did not wash out, because even though they faded, they did fade, they did not come out completely. So when it was framed, you could still see those little gray lines underneath. I framed it myself. I framed it with a mat. I mismeasured a smidge. So had I measured correctly, and should I have read the directions before I did that and sent it off? Sure, I should have, but we think we know everything. Had I measured correctly, it would have covered those, and it would not have been a problem. However, my little mismeasurement caused part of the fabric to show, which in turn caused part of the unstitched fabric to be exposed, to which allowed people to see those faint little grid lines still there. Now, does anybody else notice them? I don't know. They may or they may not. Do I notice them? Yeah, you bet I do, because, of course, as with anything, we are our own worst critic. So, with that, I strongly, strongly, strongly recommend, please, please, please don't use a lead pencil or a lead mechanical pencil. They're not that, they're relatively cheap, they're inexpensive. Get yourself a chalk pencil. You can be rest assured it is going to wash out for you. So when I did the stockings for my grandchildren, I used this mechanical pencil, the chalk, and I grid a page at a time. And even gridding at a page at a time, there were places, because you're rubbing against it, and does it smudge a little bit? Man, not really, but it will tend to rub off, so that sometimes I ended up having to re-grid. So that, to me, other than the fact that, yes, in fact, it did all wash out, that to me is another indicator that it's going to come out and I'm not going to have an issue with grid lines showing. So please, please, please don't use lead. Get yourself chalk of some sort. Now, Bohin pencil comes with, or you can get several different colors of chalk. It comes with gray. I've not had as much success with that. That really kind of, for me, has leaned towards the lead pencil. It comes out, but it doesn't come out as fully as, say, the green does. Now, there is, you can't really see it here anymore because it's kind of worn down, but there is an eraser on the end. So you could, if you needed to, erase those marks if you do it wrong, or if you need to get the gray lines out, there is an eraser there. There's also a yellow chalk that you can get. My experience has been, if you're going to be using a lighter colored fabric, say this is 25 count Easy Guide by Zweigert, that yellow does not show up very well, and it's very, very hard to see. However, if you're using a dark color fabric, say a black, a navy blue, a darker blue, maybe a red, or something on the darker end of the spectrum, yes, then your yellow will probably be fine, and you'll be able to see it just fine, and you'll have great success with it. My preference is the green, because as you can see here, you can easily see it and it washes out. So that's what I use. That's what I recommend. The choice is yours. There's lots of stuff out there to use to grid your fabric. These are the two that are my preferences. You can certainly also sew your grid on with, a lot of people prefer to use is it Sulky Sliver? However, I personally would rather mark my fabric with a chalk pencil because, number one, it's faster. Number two, I would rather spend more time stitching my actual piece than stitching on a grid. And that's just my personal preference. There are people that prefer it either way. There are people that do not like manually marking their grid with pencil or washable markers at all. And everybody has had their experiences that tend to have them lean one way or the other, and it's okay. None of them are wrong. It's what you develop as your personal preference. I only do a page at a time because, once again, I prefer to grid as I go and spend more time stitching. So I'll grid a page, and then when I need more grid, I'll just mark more on and continue on and be happily, merrily on my way, because I'm not cross-country stitching. As you see, have been there, done that. On this piece, there are sections that I did cross-country. I always stitch cross-country prior to Heaven and Earth Designs. However, with this larger design, even with the grid, I would tend to get lost, miscount, end up having the visit from our friend the frog. I get the urge every now and again, as you'll see, as you've seen spots on here where I've done cross country, just because it's like, oh, come on, I want to be faster than this. And as you see, I end up reverting back to stitching one row at a time on the diagonal. And again, it's all your preference. There's no right way, there's no wrong way. It's whatever ever works best for you. And I would say, watch videos on how people stitch. Everybody has their own method, and take tips from one and apply it to yours. Try different methods. There's no harm in doing 10 different methods on your piece, because the bottom line is the front all looks the same, and that's your goal. It's the back that looks different. Where you can see on the back, where on mine you can see where I stitched cross country. You can see where I stitched in columns, 10 stitches wide. You can see where I stitched on the diagonal in this direction. You can see where I stitched on the diagonal in this direction. I chalk this up to being an experimental piece to find out what I like the best. And there's no reason you guys can't do the same with yours. So have at it. Try different things. See what works for you. Some people like 10 by 10 blocks. Some people don't like parking. Some people do 10 by 10 blocks and they don't park. That to me would be, in my opinion, only. And again, whatever way is right for you is the right way. For me to do just a 10 by 10 block and start and end my threads, especially if I got maybe 20 threads, 20 colors in that 10 by 10 block, is far too time consuming. And that constant flipping and starting and stopping and my own personal, that would make me crazy. I can't do that. Which is why I like parking, because I can start the thread. If I use it here and it's not used again till down here, I can just park it down there. Now, I don't park 30, 40, 50 threads away. I'll go 10, maybe 12, but probably no further than that before I end it off and start it again. So, Rebecca, I hope that answered your question on gridding. As far as the physical gridding part of it, it's just, mark your edge, mark your edge, mark your top, and just count 10 threads, draw another line, 10 threads, draw another line. As far as you want to go, count down 10, draw a horizontal line every 10. That makes your blocks, and that is really all there is to gridding. It's really straightforward. You count to 10, you draw a line, you count to 10, you draw a line in both directions. So I hope that answered your question. If not, please let me know, and I will be happy to try and explain it more. The other tip I have for you today is this. I don't know how many of you use the Payco organizers and like the Payco organizers. I personally do. I enjoy them. What I found always frustrating with them when using them was the fact that all your threads are hanging down, and if you put quite a few threads, as you can see, on one peg, wow, they can get really gnarly hanging down, and you're constantly combing through them in order to keep them from knotting together, and it can end up being a jumbled mess. And to put just one 6-strand piece on each peg, especially when you were using a particular color a lot, you end up going back into your main supply of thread for that piece, pulling it again, and you're spending a whole lot more time on that. So I found this tip on another video, so I do not take credit for it. However, I wish I could remember what video I saw it on, because I would personally just thank them tremendously, because it's great and I love it, and I would really like to pass it on to the rest of you. So what they did and what I have done is I braided. Okay, here we go. I need to use the other hand. I braided my threads together. Okay? Oh, you find some terrific color combinations. Look at them. Some of these I look and think, oh, would I like to take a monochromatic piece and use this color combination and stitch something? Yeah, you just leave the end, but your ends aren't going to get all gnarly like they did before. So braid your stuff together. Some of you may have been doing this for a long time. To me, it was like a new idea, and I was thrilled. The other thing I like about that is your threads pull out just as easily. You get your one thread from the group, pull it as you normally do. I tend to maybe hold it here a little bit so as to not have too much of it bunch up, but they really don't pull apart. And then when I'm done stitching with that color, I can just loop it back over and let it hang loose. And I like that idea because when I need that color again, especially when I only need a shorter piece, rather than pull a new piece and get a long one, because when you've put them back on, you don't know which pieces are the long ones and which pieces are the short ones, and you could end up always pulling new ones, and then you end up with all these short ones, and okay, that can be a bit of a pain. So if you put your short one back on and have it loose, this is the short one. So if I only have a couple stitches, I take this one. Or if it's a decent, and this one happens to be a decent sized piece, well, I'll take this one off and finish off that thread, using that thread before I get a new one. So this was just a tip that I thought was mind-blowing. It was a great tip, and it keeps everything from not getting all gnarled up. And yeah, you have your little singles hanging here, but those are dealable. Those aren't going to get all gnarly and knotted together. And your main thread supply is just hanging in the braids, and it's just so much nicer and easier to deal with. So I thought I would pass that tip along to the rest of you and use it if you choose. If you don't, that's fine too. But I just thought I'd pass that to both of you. The other thing, I'd better get to stitching a little bit here. The other thing I thought I would pass on or let you all know, and thank you. First, I want to thank everyone for subscribing. You've blown my mind with how many people have subscribed, whether that's for the Hardanger videos or the diagonal stitching videos or the tips or just to listen to my rambling. I would be interested to know what brought you to my channel. If you want to leave a comment about that, I really would be interested in hearing. Unfortunately, the Hardanger videos, what's there, and I've said this before, is all that's going to be there. I've said this before, have issues with my hand, and as you notice, I will be a good girl and wearing my brace today. This keeps, I can't get far enough away here. This keeps my joint stable, and yet I have flexibility in my thumb to still pinch. So that's the reason I am able to still do the cross stitch. However, I have difficulty holding because I stitch my Hardanger in hand. I do not, except for the needle weaving, I don't use a hoop, and I have difficulty even using a hoop, which is why my stitching is on a Q-snap on a stand, or it's on my scroll frames on my bigger stand. I just can't stand to hold anything for any period of time in my hand anymore. It just isn't going to happen until it gets bad enough that I can't stand it. It's just a matter of, well, you just got to live with it. And I have, like I said, I have the brace, I put ice on it, I have Voltaren gel, which is a topical analgesic that I put on it, and it is what it is. So I am being a good girl today, and I am wearing my brace while we stitch a little bit together. But I really I would really be curious as to what type of stitching brought you to my channel. Just a curiosity. But I would love to thank all of you for subscribing and for being here, and for allowing me into your home to ramble a bit. 2, 3, 4. Okay, had to just count to find the right place here. Because I really do enjoy making these videos. So what I thought I would do, because it does give me great joy to sit and chat with you. I really love being able to share tips with you on how to do things that may make your stitching easier for you, or more enjoyable for you, or learn something new, or whatever it is. I used to teach some needlework classes. I studied at one point in time with the National Needlework Association, and unfortunately they did away with their counted thread program before I could actually get a certification in counted thread. I just put that one at the wrong spot. Hold on here a second. So I do enjoy teaching and sharing knowledge. Like I said, I am not an expert. I am not a professional. I am just a person who loves to stitch and has been stitching for many, many years. Many years. But I do enjoy spending time with all of you. Brings me great joy. So with that, what I thought I would do is attempt to do a video either, today's Thursday. I got a little thrown off this week because this is take number 3 of the same video. So what I was planning is, or going to try and do, was do a video every Tuesday. If not every Tuesday, every other Tuesday, so that we can spend some time together. You can submit your questions and put them down in the comments. If you have questions, please, or want to know about something particular, please put them in the comments so that we can talk about them, and we can either explain something or teach you something new, or whatever it is that you want to know. Like I said, I don't profess to know everything. I'm not an expert. However, if I don't know, I'll try to find out for you and help you out with that. So with that being said, I won't do a video on this Tuesday because, wow, today's Thursday already. So maybe I should change it to Thursdays. We'll have to see. I will say this. I'll try and do one at least once a week, or if not once a week, every other week, and see how that goes. So help me out and keep me supplied with questions, so that I don't end up sitting here rambling about nothing or having nothing to talk about, because I like your ideas for what we can discuss while we're doing these videos. So for this one, my topic is I need some help from you guys, because I have several reasons for doing these videos. And one is because I enjoy them, because they're fun, because I've gotten a lot of positive feedback from them. So that's a joy for me. So that's one good reason to do these videos. Another good reason is because I like to teach people. I like to help them learn new things, or sit and, let's talk about the pros and cons of this, that, or the other thing. So that's another reason. But the third reason is because I'm trying to do the challenges on the Stitch Talk group, which is the trip around the world. The 100-day challenge, and there's several others. So this is my way of trying to stay accountable to someone to stick with a project and be able to complete these challenges. Now, I'm already working on this project since 2017. Now, I do forget exactly when in 2017 I started it. But I can tell you that it's been in timeout for a year while I made the Christmas stockings for my grandchildren. And I believe I showed them in a previous video. Those stockings took me from December of 2017 until October of 2018. So average, it took me about 5.5 months per stocking to do those. And let me tell you, the grandkids were totally thrilled with them, which did my heart so much good. Oops, missed a stitch. Gotta go back before I park it. But that meant this particular piece, which is Stitcher's Retreat, Heaven and Earth Design Stitcher's Retreat. It was the freebie. Was neglected for the best part of a year. So at this point, I am on row 3, about the middle of that row. And I have 5 more rows after this to go. Yahoo. First of all, that's a long time. And I'm retired. So yes, I stitch a lot. A whole lot. And I get a lot done. However, I still got five rows of 9 pages to do on this one. I'm not getting any younger. I'm already 67. I'll be 68 in July. So And I have lots of other stuff I want to stitch. So at this point, I need to live to be about 200. If that will even cover it. Well, we all know that ain't going to be happening. So I need your help. I have to check that. So I need your help. And my help is for this. Here's what happens. My dilemma is this. I'm stitching away on Stitcher's Retreat. Yahoo. I look at Facebook. I look at whatever. I think I have a wrong color parked somewhere. That's what I need to check here. And that happens to us sometimes. So that's why these PAYCO organizers are also very handy, because you can yeah, that's what I did. Okay. You can just pick that up, hold your floss next to it, and come up with the right color. Anyway, back to what I was saying. You guys are terrible enablers, because I look at Flosstube, I look at Instagram, I look at whatever, and I see all the things that you guys are working on, which are fabulous. And then I think, oh my God, I really want to, I want to stitch that so bad. And then I get this uncontrollable itch to start it. Okay, let me put this one aside. Goes this little, the little devil on my left-hand shoulder goes, put what you're working on aside. Do it. Go ahead, put what you're working on aside and start this one that you think that you just love. And then he nags, and he nags, and he nags. And this little good angel on my right shoulder goes, don't do it, Karen. Don't do it, Karen. You know exactly what's going to happen. You're going to put that project aside, and you're going to start that one, and you're never going to finish the one you're working on now. Don't do it. Don't do it. But then this little guy over here says, do it, do it. Do it. You can do it. You'll go back to it. Go ahead. You'll just put a couple stitches in, and then you'll go back to the one you were working on. Yeah. In my dreams. Ain't happening. Pardon me. I'm still getting over the crud that's going around. Not happening. Not happening at all. So this little naughty guy over here gets so loud, and that itch gets so itchy that Karen decides, okay, I'm going to scratch it. So what does she do? She gets that chart, or has that chart. She cuts the fabric. She pulls all the threads. She sits and she stitches the rest of that day on that piece to scratch that itch. Puts the one she was working on away. Now, she may work on that, I may work on that piece an hour and go, nah. I may work on that piece a week and then go, yeah. I may work on that piece a month. And then, or whatever, somewhere in a time period, something else starts the itch all over again and says, ooh, you really like that. Ooh, you really want to stitch that. Ooh, you better get that. You better start that. The sensible side of me is going, don't do it. Don't even do it. But what do? You guessed it. Scratch the itch. So what happens? Now, we've got 2 that fell in the little black hole. We go a period of time again, whether it's any varying amount of time, till the next thing comes along. We scratch the itch. Now we got more in the little black hole. My problem is those that fell in the little black hole, they stay in there forever. They don't see the light of day because I keep scratching the itch. I don't want to do that with this project. I love this project. I don't want to do that. Then what happens is, finally, I get this collection of started things, and I think, okay, stop it. Just stop it. You really need to go back and look at these. And you really need to pick something from these and work on them and stop this nonsense, because it's a waste. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of supplies. It's just, in the long run, a waste, because this is what happens. When I go back through them, I open up that project and I look at it and I go, what in the world were you thinking? Why in the world did you start this? Because, where's my thread? Because you don't even like it now. So why? What? So what do I do? Well, I get out the scissors, because most times I've had enough done that to frog it and reuse that piece of linen or whatever fabric it was would take forever. So I end up cutting off the part that's stitched and say, sayonara, bye-bye. It didn't even, now it has now, but it didn't even occur to me to, golly, maybe you want to keep them little partial stitched areas and make something out of them. That never even crossed my mind, because I can't get past the part of wanting to stitch and wanting to stitch something new. So I end up trashing what was stitched, recycling that piece of linen that is now smaller and hopefully will be large enough for something else to fit on. Most times it usually is, because people that know me know that I don't stitch many things that are too small. It's either go big or go home, as you noticed. Or, sorry. But when you think about it, then the thread goes back into the master supply of thread, of which, I'm at no loss for that either. And most times I've actually went and bought more thread for the project that I started, and now I'm going to abandon. So again, that's a waste of dollars. linen is expensive, so that piece that you've cut away and trashed, well, that was a waste. So my question is, what do you do to avoid things falling in that black hole, never, ever, ever to be seen again? Okay. And how do you tell this little nasty guy over here on my left shoulder that, no, I'm not going to start something else. I enjoy this piece. I'm going to continue to work on it. How do you do that? How do you get past the need to have that itch scratched? Because a lot of times it gets scratched and then you don't even really want to do that project. Or I don't even really want to do that project. And I don't want to have all these things wasted. I want to spend my time doing things I enjoy. It's just a dilemma. It's just a dilemma. And I want to have this big project on my wall one day. And as I said, I'm not getting any younger. Not at all. So I want to have it stitched. I want it to be stitched and hanging on my wall. And for as much as I have to stitch on it yet, I am foreseeing, well, it's 72 pages. I am only on page this diagonal goes across page 22 and 23. So here's looking at probably another couple years till we get this thing finished, or till I get this thing finished. So I don't want to have to answer that little guy on my shoulder who is saying, scratch the itch. So what do you guys do to avoid doing that and to limit yourself as to how many projects you have going at a time? Right now, I will tell you, I have in the drawer, half finished, Manifesto by the Scarlet Letter, which is a solid stitch piece. I have half finished Hannah Carter, also by the Scarlet Letter, which is a solid stitch piece. I have Houses of Hawk Run Hollow, which has 4. I'm on the 5th block in the drawer. I have Anniversaries of the Heart, which 1, 2, 3. I'm either almost finished with the 4th and started the 5th, somewhere in that area of that one in the drawer. I also have another sampler, and off the top of my head, I can't remember the name of that, in the drawer. So right there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the drawer. Have been sitting there for I'm going to say greater than 3 years. Because I was working on this in 2017. I did the stockings in 2018. I think I actually might have started this in 2016. Now that I think about it. And in between there's been many other stops and starts and stops and starts and stops and starts, and had the scissors taken too. So what I need your help with is some ideas and ways to not fall into that trap and down that into that black hole. So in the comments, folks, help me out. I would love, 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 love to hear your ideas. Now, I didn't get a whole lot of stitching done in this video. Oh, that tends to be me. I tend to blubber on. And when I'm blubbering on and babbling on, my hands sometimes tend to stop. So I'll do better next time. I'll do it better next week and get more stitching in for you. The other problem is I'm getting into an area that's a whole bunch of color changes. So I'll try and make my next video where I don't have so many color changes and we can stitch right on through, because I'm getting almost done with this light. This is, let me zoom out a little bit for you. Yeah, this is the light in the middle of the girls. So in this area is a lot of different colors, so it takes a little bit more concentration, and I thought I had a little further to go till I get to that, but be that neither here nor there. So with that, and we're at 50 minutes. I already babbled for 50 minutes, and hopefully this third video is the charm, and we'll get it uploaded for you all to view. So with that, I want to say once again, thank you, thank you, thank you to everyone out there who subscribes to this channel, who continues to come back, to all the newbies or new people that have come to the channel or found this channel. Welcome, and I hope you enjoy. If you like what you see and what you hear, subscribe, come back. I can't thank you all enough. It is a pleasure to spend time with you. I appreciate and want to thank you for the honor and the privilege of allowing me into your home to spend this time with you. It really is enjoyable, and I really do enjoy doing these videos. So with that, I'm going to bid you farewell until next time, which hopefully is going to be within a week or two, and we can sit and chat again. And don't forget, ask me your questions, help me out on my dilemma. Let me know, because I am curious, what brought you to this channel. And I will do my very, very best to try and respond to all of your comments. If I don't give you a direct message back, I promise that I will heart the comment so that you know that I have seen it and I have read it, because you all are very, very important to me. So again, I want to thank you all. Hope you have a very, very enjoyable week. If you're in Pennsylvania or here on the East Coast, where we're being deluged with rain, once again, stay dry. I need to get my duck shoes out because my yard and my basement are flooded once again. Been the story of our lives. So with that, I'm going to bid you farewell. Have a great weekend, and always, always find your joy. Bye.